it's our third day. It's going fast. I hope you are all enjoying it. Let me know in the chat box. Are you enjoying the first couple of days? What has been your biggest takeaway? Have you been enjoying this? So guys, today is all about prosperity consciousness. Believe it or not, I have about 3 pages of notes that I want to go through with you today. Look at all this. This is how the money's made. Isn't this exciting? So hopefully we'll get through it all. I'm going to whiz through it as fast as I possibly can. I would advise that you take notes. And if you want to see the recording of this, you can catch that inside our Dynamite Effect page. So go back, watch over all of these sessions over and over and over and over again. You will hear something new every time. Little bit of feedback on yesterday. Have you all been thinking big? Have you been thinking about your goals? Have you been building images in your mind? If you have, let me know. The key here is that you don't just come on and listen every day, but you come on, listen to understand, and then start to question, how can I apply this in my life? What are the next steps that I can take? As I covered on Monday, just reading this book, just, listening to me on this very short, concise course is not enough to make radical change in your life, okay? I don't say something that I can't stand by, and I put on this program to help you start on that journey, to get you to think just a little bit differently than what you possibly have. So understand that this is a journey, okay? And we're all on the same journey. We are all going in the same direction. We're all going out the way we came in. But your experience here on this earth is something that I feel everybody should have. We all deserve to have abundance, to have love, to have greatness, and to be rich. Okay? And we don't talk about this enough. We don't say this enough. And we're going to learn today why that is, and actually how that has been holding you back from all the riches that you could possibly have. So that is the key we want to start off with. What is it that you want? This is what we left off on yesterday. So has your mind went anywhere? Did you think about this yesterday evening? Were you thinking about, you know what, I would love to turn my annual income into a monthly income? Not because anybody really wants to have a whole big pile of stack of money. Really all it is, pieces of metal, pieces of dirty paper with dead people's faces on it. Okay? That's what this stuff that we call money. And the funny thing is we all think differently about it. If I was to hold up £100 note, there'll be some people on this call will go, wow, £100 note, great. I'll have that. That's a lot of money. Other people might look at that £100 note and go, oh my goodness, you're broke. Is that all you have? So the interesting thing for me is, and I'm just helping you understand like how I started to think about it was, well, hold on a minute. That piece of paper never changed. It's still just this piece of paper. But how that person thinks about it and how that person thinks about it completely changes the game. One person can see lack, one other person can see abundance. And it's our relationship to money that is really the key to us creating incredible financial success in our lives, in our businesses. If you run a business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you haven't got a business, this is for everybody. We didn't learn this stuff at school. We have no idea what money is. In fact, 95 people out of 100 do not understand what money is, and they settle for what they have been given. And that is a very sad statistic. And I fell into that category for a long time. I just fell into a job, was told what I was getting paid a year. And it never really mattered if I worked harder, worked less, got another job. I was still bringing in the same amount every month, and usually there wasn't enough. Okay? So this is why I'm so passionate about this. Now, if you're thinking, well, Kim, who are you to sit and talk about money? Well, I feel that I do have some sort of credibility in this field, because not only have I went from having £4.20 in my pocket to earning over 4 million in 4 years. I know this works because I've done it. Okay? I also have been taught by the master thinker of prosperity and abundance, Bob Proctor. So I want to start off with page 91 in our book, and it's on the expect an abundance chapter. Again, I'm going to flip across many different chapters, but I wanted to start off with the little piece of writing that was in italics, and it says, the mind is a powerful magnet, and as such, it attracts whatever corresponds to its ruling state. So the mind is a magnet and will attract whatever is corresponding to that ruling state. Okay? Expectation dictates what that ruling state will be, and therefore governs what responds to the mind and is attracted into your life. Expectation. Now, how many times have we been told, don't count your chickens till they've hatched? Don't assume anything until you know you've got it in writing. My dad always drilled that into me as a kid. Have you got it in writing yet? Is it in the bank? And it was always this premise of, don't get excited about it because you don't want to be let down. Now, who ever decided that that was the rule that we were going to live by? Well, it was mum and dad. And it was mum and dad before that, and it was mum and dad before that. It's generational thinking, conditioned way of thinking. As I said yesterday, we also might have evidence of that. But the evidence in the physical world, as I explained yesterday, was created by the thinking in the non-physical world. So actually, it's the cause and effect. It's the thinking that turns into the things. And then we look at the things in the physical world. Maybe that's an empty bank account or a business that has plateaued at a certain figure, and we go, oh, well, that's just what it is. Or we look at what's going on in the world and we think, oh my goodness, we're all going for it. Like, how many times have you heard in the news that we're all going into a depression? Constantly. Now, it probably will happen because there's so many people of a mass consciousness are thinking like that. I won't be in a depression. I choose not to go down that path because it's a choice. That's it. It is an absolute choice. And that's the gift that I want to help you realize that you already have. You were born rich. You have choices. You have the most incredible, marvelous mind that attracts to it anything that is corresponding to it. So really what that means is whatever you're thinking is what's going to attract more into your life. Now, how many people on this call have been maybe setting goals to clear debt? That's the worst goal to have. I ban that word. That is a bad word in my community and thinking into results. Nobody is allowed to have a goal of clearing debt. Why? Well, one, it's really boring. Okay? You're not going to get jumping out of bed tomorrow morning. Oh, I can't wait to go to work. I can't wait to do everything because I'm going to pay off my debt. Woo-hoo-hoo. Like, it's just not going to happen. Now, it is such a good feeling when you pay off debt, don't get me wrong, but it is not going to get you out of bed. Also, when you think about paying off debt, when you focus on a goal of paying debt, do you think that that is more negatively charged or more positively charged? So unless you want to attract more bills, more debt, then I would get off that idea of clearing debt. Like, that is one huge trick that I want you to apply to your life. You are either working with a mindset of lack or a mindset of abundance. And it would only take me about 30 seconds of a conversation with you to know which lens you've got on. I'm very well trained to understand, I see what the problem is. And that doesn't make me any better than you. It just makes me more aware. And of course, awareness is the key. You're not aware right now how to pay off debt. You're not aware right now how to earn or multiply your income. So if you don't know how, you're never going to. Okay? And that is the beauty, like, that's a wonderful thing to realize. It can sound not so great, but again, it depends on how you look at it, your perception. Actually, it means you hold the keys to the kingdom. You are in control. And that's what helped me completely turn my life around. Working less, earning more. Do you want to work less and earn more? Do you want to have more freedom of time? Because it's not really the money you want. And that's what we're going to start off with. We've got to really ask ourselves, okay, well, firstly, what is money? On page, let me see, it's in the Me and the Money chapter, very first chapter. On page 5, Me and the Money. It says, consider this, money will have a greater influence on your life than almost any other commodity that you can think of. Indeed, the sudden loss of or acquisition of money will affect your attitude to a tremendous extent. Therefore, you must agree that everyone should have a deep understanding of exactly what money is and the laws that govern it in its attraction. So there's the first two things you got to understand: what money is and what are the laws that are in relation to attracting it into your life. It says, yet it is a sad fact that not one person in 10, 95 people out of 100 settle for what they get, wishing they had more all the way from the cradle to the casket, never understanding that they could actually have had everything they wanted. Now that's serious. I want you to live this life with abundance and have the things, do the things, go the places, taste the foods, have more time with your kids. That's what this is about. If you want to be a multimillionaire, cool, we can help you do that too. I've helped many people. I had one guy come into my program, and 2 months in, well, first month I sat down with him, his goal was to generate 6 million in a year. And that was a big C-type goal for him. That was a big push. Now he's in business. He's in the financial industry. And again, it's amazing. I work with a lot of people from the financial industry and they haven't a clue what money is. And yet they're dealing with money and they've studied money to an extent. So his goal was to get 6 million into his company. And in a week, he attracted 12 million into his company. Now that's pretty incredible. And, you know, most people would go, oh, no, there must have been something around that. No, there wasn't. He started to change his thinking. He started to dial in. That's what we call alignment. That little piece of work that we teach people through our program just doubled what he wanted to do in a year. He did it in a day. It was on a Tuesday. And he couldn't believe this. Now, you may not want 12 million. You may not even want 1 million. And you know the funny thing is, 1 million isn't even that big anymore. You go through 1 million like that. So you've got to start thinking, what do you want? You will attract what you are, not what you want. So you've got to decide what you want, and then you've got to become it. And then you attract it into your life. Okay? So it goes on to say that money is important. So there's a couple of facts that I want to give you, okay? Firstly, we'll start off with what is money. So money is energy. Write that down. Absolutely the most important fact you'll probably ever learn in your life. Money is energy. Now, what does that mean? Well, we've been talking a lot about energy over the last 3 days, and we will continue to, because everything is energy. I'm energy, you're energy, this microphone's energy, this paper is energy. And like this paper is called paper. That is the word that we give to this piece of material, matter, and we call it paper. That's because this is in a state of vibration. Remember, vibration is the energy, okay? It's the rate of energy. But before this was paper, what was it? A tree. Now, you would never go to the park and go, oh, look at all those papers. You'd never do that. You go, oh, look at all the beautiful trees. But the tree is energy. And then what happens is somebody takes the wood, they change the composition of the wood, and they create paper. Now, somebody had to become aware to do that. They weren't doing that, you know, at the start of time. But somebody became consciously aware that it was possible. And now we have paper. We have books. We have the internet. The internet was always here. But the idea was not always here. It took people to think of the thoughts like we were explaining yesterday, bring it into our mind and go, bing, that's what I'm going to do. So ideas are energy. Money is energy and ideas are energy. So just like the tree turned into paper, and by the way, that's called the law of transmutational energy. Okay, you don't need to remember that, but that's what it's called. So thoughts turn into things. Okay, so the ideas are what is going to bring the money. It's ideas. It's thinking. You think of Steve Jobs. It's nothing to do with whether you're a nice person or not a nice person. Money is just money. It does not change you unless you allow it to. Okay? I am still the same Kim that I was. I'm a better version, I would definitely say, because I had a bad attitude and I didn't like me and I was broke and I blamed everybody. And I was brought up to believe money is the root of all evil. Don't talk about money. But yet I was also taught, Kim, you better work really hard. You better get a good education. You must get a pension. You must save for a rainy day. I always joke and say that is why Northern Ireland is so rainy. Because we save. Now think about this. Why do we do that? Because we have been programmed to do it, to believe that there's lack. If you understood money like I understood it, and you will if you decide to move on this and start to really work on yourself and your level of understanding. But when you get to a level where you start to understand that money is energy and energy is everything and energy is ever present, 100%, evenly present at all times, can't be created, can't be destroyed, then you start to be able to say, I want this amount of money. And then you start to develop the ideas of how to create the money. Now, ideas is certainly not your problem. Ideas we have an abundance of. Could do this, and could do that, could do this, and could do that. Our problem is our paradigm. Our problem is our conditioned way of thinking, because as soon as we come up with an idea, we also come up with all the reasons why it won't work. Or all the reasons of why I can't make it to work. Whatever. Or excuses like, well, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. I'm just going to sit tight. Worst idea ever. Okay? Please do not get sucked into that. You will get lost. Now is not a time to sit back and settle. Like, I'm really serious about that. Now is not the time. I've been doubling up on my study. I've been doubling up in my investments. I've been teaching my clients to do the same. And what we have seen is everybody in our group has quantum leaped, has done better in business in these last couple of months than they've ever done. I have guys, again, working in different industries, and they have quadrupled their business, had best months. There was one guy said, I've had the best month that I've ever had in 15 years. Because it changed their attitude. They started to learn that there is a science to achieving success. Okay? So we've got to really ask ourselves, what are our beliefs around money? Because we've now established that money is just the earthly symbol. That's all that money is. Money is just paper and metal. That's all that it is. In fact, if you were to find a different, really it's currency. If you were to find, I don't know, some other currency that you've no idea what it means, you wouldn't know its worth. It could be worth nothing, or it could be worth millions, but you wouldn't have a clue because it's not your currency. You're not aware of what it means. You could throw it away like a piece of paper and yet it could be worth millions. So it's our lack of understanding that it's actually our emotional connection. It's what we deem as what is valuable and what is not valuable. That's the key to this. So when we really look at it, it's our thinking. It's our attitude. It's our thoughts. It's what we deem as being valuable or not valuable. And what is making you make that decision is your paradigm, is your conditioned way of thinking. Maybe you were brought up and there was no money at home. And that's okay. I'm not criticizing anybody. But if that was the case, then probably you were brought up with a more lack mindset. How are we going to afford that? How are we going to do that? And because you heard that growing up through your development stages, that just came straight in, and that's how you seen the world. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I seen him work really late every night, sleep in every morning, ask my mum how to spell things, because couldn't spell. I can't spell either. I'm rubbish at it. But I don't really care. People do care. They crack up sometimes when I make spelling mistakes. I just laugh. Life is too short to get too worried. But I seen all of these habits from my dad. Now, my dad was very successful. He did very well. But I seen him work really hard. So I grew up with a thought process that you've got to work really hard to earn money. So that was the belief. What is a belief? A belief is a thought that you continue to think over a period of time until it solidifies into a hardened fact. That is what a belief is. So at some point in your tiny life, you've been collecting all these thoughts around money. Maybe you were from an area, I don't know, that again, maybe didn't have much money. And then you've seen other areas where they had loads of money. And then we start to go, well, who do they think they are? Sure, the rich only care about the rich. There's so many bad attitudes. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out there that have money and do silly things with money. And I certainly wouldn't want their life. And there is a lot of people out there that have money and are miserable. I totally agree with you. But that doesn't have to be you. I have abundance and I'm happy. My clients have abundance and they're happy. So we can all go out into the world and find what we're looking for. If you want to go out and find reasons why this is a load of rubbish, you'll find it. If you want to go out on the internet and find all the reasons that I'm talking about is 100% correct, you'll also find it. So really what we've got to ask ourselves is, what do you want to find? What do you want to start thinking about and changing your belief systems around? So you're either working with a lack or you're working with abundance. Really key. Now, it also says money is important. Do not get mixed up and think money is not important. Money is very important. Sometimes I say to people, okay, what is your financial goal? They go, oh, well, it's not about the money. It is about the money. It has to be about the money. Because you can't go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's and go, I'm just going to take my shopping, but you don't want money for it though, right? Because money's not important. That's not going to work. You can't ring up your mortgage advisor or your bank or your car company and go, I don't think money's important. I'm not interested in it. So I'm not going to pay my bills. Can't do that. Money is important. Okay? So make sure you know that. Money has got two purposes. First purpose is that you live a wonderful, abundant life. Second reason, it helps you extend your good to others. It's the only two things that money's here for, is to help you live the life that you want to live. And be very, very clear in what I'm saying. I'm not saying to make do, to have enough. I do not prescribe to that way of thinking. I want to have what I want to have because I know that I can have it and I deserve it. Now, that deserving piece is one of the biggest blocks that quite possibly all of you have, including me. Because remember what I said in day one, we are only held back by two things: lack of attention, poverty of imagination. So you see, you're probably not even thinking, you may not even know how much you'd like to be earning a month. You haven't even thought of a number. Now, if you haven't thought of a number, then you're not giving it attention. So there's no way that your mind is going to be magnetizing to find the ways in which it can make it happen. In fact, you might be thinking about the debt. Well, how are we going to pay the bills? Oh, this month's going to be hard. You know, everything that's going on, people don't have money. Like, how many of you are in a business and you have been worried about selling because you don't want to seem like you're taking money off people? Has anyone had that thought? Is anybody in sales and they don't like to be sold? That's a cracker one. If you are in a sales position and you don't like being sold, I know you're not selling to your capacity. Because if you don't like being sold, then I know you've got a paradigm around selling, makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't like it. So how can you ever expect somebody to buy off you? Because you're going to give out the same energy when you're talking about your product or service. If you're thinking about or assuming or making up stuff of how you think people will perceive you right now if you start selling something, you probably won't sell anything. And then do you know what happens? You suffer. Your family suffers. And that has a ripple effect. And this is why it is so important that we take our own responsibility and we start to realize that there's abundance everywhere. Money has not disappeared off this planet. There is the same amount of money as there ever was, and it is never ending. There is no end to the amount of money because money's energy. Like you've got to realize this. There's no end to the amount of money that you can have. All you've got to do is line up with it. All you got to do is change the way that you're thinking. Like everybody on this call earns a different amount. Wonder why that is. Well, it comes down to your ability to do whatever the job or the service that you are in. There's a law that governs the amount of money you earn. It's the law of compensation. There's only 3 parts to it. There needs to be a need for what you do. You need to be really good at doing it, to your ability to do it, and you have to be difficult to replace. When you can tick all of those, you're on a good place. Now, really, there's always a need for what you do, or you wouldn't be in the business, and you're going to be hard to replace if you're really good. So the only thing we actually have to focus on is you raising your ability. So your ability comes down to what you're doing, your activities, your behavior. And your behavior is created by your subconscious thinking, which is your paradigm. So again, what we're seeing is everything comes back to the mind. It's the one thing that you can change, and your entire life in all areas will change. That's why I'm obsessed with it. I don't want to go around playing that game where you're trying to hit this down and hit that down. Oh, this has happened and this has happened. And you end up just a mess, confused, frustrated, anxious, even depressed, and possibly sick. Why? Because you're out of alignment with the true essence of who you are, which is a spiritual being living in a physical body. There is a powerful energy, whether you call that God, whether you call it the universe, energy, I don't care what title you give it, there is an incredible power that is in you. But you might be disconnected from it. So you see, this energy, it's abundant, never runs out. And when you learn to hook up to the supply, you will start to open the floodgates. But you've got to have your paradigm and your habits and your beliefs all lined up. You got to understand money. You've got to feel deserving of money. You've got to understand what you've actually got to do to create the money. And I'm telling you now, guys, it's not about, oh, right, okay, I'm going to just start an Amazon account and start selling things. Oh, I'm going to start a coaching business, or I'm going to go out and put more ads, or I'm going to do this. Those are strategies. All will work, but not if you haven't changed the programming. I want you to really understand this. If I take my iPhone, if I do not upgrade the software in this iPhone, it does not matter if I have a fancy case. It does not matter if I have a lovely little pop stop. It just won't work if the software is old. Like imagine I was trying to stream across, I'm streaming to hundreds right now. Imagine I was trying to do that on like Windows 98, if you can remember back then. There's no way Zoom or Facebook would work on it because it's outdated software. And we're the same. We have software inside us. This is this programming that I've been talking about. My programming was set to earn 35,000 a year as a nurse. I wasn't aware of how to earn any more. I'd never heard of anybody even earning that a month, like apart from like celebrities. But nobody that I knew in Northern Ireland was doing that. Now, there was people, but I just didn't know them. Why? Because I didn't hang around in those circles. Birds of a feather flock together. So I wasn't even around other like-minded people that could teach me this stuff. This is why we have the Dynamite Effect group. This is why I love my Thinking into Results family. We have hundreds and hundreds of people around the world connect twice a week, every week to get these teachings from me. And their results just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's because awareness keeps increasing. So money is very important. That was one of the things. There's other two things you need to know about money, and you can read about this on page 6. It says money is a servant. Okay? So it says, now that I have affirmed the importance of money, let me backtrack to add this one word of caution. Always remember, money is a servant, you are the master. It's a great thing to think about. Money is a servant, you're the master. Be very careful not to reverse that equation, because many people of high intelligence have already done so. So they're great to their great determined. Unfortunately, many of these poor souls loved money and used people, which violated one of the most basic laws governing true financial success. You should always love people and use money rather than the reverse. Isn't that just awesome? Love people, use money. Don't use people and love money. Really important. A lot of my clients are always asking, how do we get more clients? And it's never about getting more clients. I never think about getting more clients. What I think about is, how can I serve more people? How can I serve my clients better? I increase my value and my service. Why do I do that? Because I know, well, one, I'm obsessed with my clients and obsessed with this material, so it's kind of hard not to. But I know that what I give out must return. So I don't really spend any time worrying about getting clients. I have an expectance that I will gain clients. I know, I have unwavering faith, because I know what I do is good work. I love people, and then I use money to invest in me, because I am the most important person in your life. You're the most important person. I'm not important to you, but you're important to you. And if you're not, then you've got to start there. If you don't value yourself, if you don't invest in yourself, then you're never going to raise your level of awareness. You're never going to gain anything more than what you've got. And I do not believe that you're happy with what you've got. Now, you can be grateful for what you have, and that's a huge part of this. I don't want anybody being like, not happy where I am, don't like this, want more. That's a really bad attitude, and you're not going to get any money very fast. You've got to be grateful for what you have. You've got to give thanks for the clients you've already got. You've got to give thanks for the food on the table. You've got to give thanks for the electricity. You've got to give gratitude to all of that, but also be expectant of more. There's no such thing as just taking your lot and that's it. I always remember my dad telling me a little Bible story. I don't know if any of you know it, but it's about the parable of the talents. And the guy that was given lots of talents, the guy that went and used them, he got more talents. But one of the guys went and dug a big hole and stuck his talents in the ground, and they were taken away. One of the big things, and we're actually going into a big series of this in TIR next month around the spiritual laws of money. I love talking about it, especially here in this country, because it's one big thing that we have got really, really strange thinking around. It's not a bad thing to have money, guys. If you believe in God, God does not want you to be poor. You've got to extend your good to others. We've got to help, but we've also got to love us. We've got to love ourselves enough to want the things that we want. Or do you go into a shop and go, maybe not at the minute, but do you ever go into a shop and go, oh, there's a beautiful dress or jacket. Oh, that'll be amazing on me. And you go out. Well, I mean, it's not that nice. I don't really need that. In fact, I've got a whole wardrobe at home full of stuff. I don't doubt that either. But why do we do that? You seen something you wanted, it made you happy, and then you looked at a price tag and you changed your mind. And it's not even that you changed your mind. You literally talked to yourself and rationalized why this was not a good idea right now. But yet you're happy to pay bills, you're happy to get the kids stuff, but we never put ourselves first. That is one of the major things that you should do all of the time, is give yourself something back. Invest in you. That is a return on investment that will come back to you for the rest of your life. Like, I've invested hundreds and hundreds of thousands in myself. And you might be sitting there going, well, that's good for you, Kim. I don't have hundreds of thousands. Neither did I. So I don't really listen to any excuses that your paradigm's going to give. I had £4.20 and sold my car. And I had no idea if any of this stuff was true or not. I had no idea what was going on. I just knew I was stuck. My plan didn't work. And I was not prepared to live the rest of my life going round in a cycle. I was not prepared for that. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, trading my life for what I do and never really being able to do anything I wanted to do. That's no life. That's not living. That's surviving and existing, but it's not living. We are here to live. We're God's highest form of creation. We have creative abilities beyond the scope of our imagination. So the key is to stretch our imagination, to think bigger. And it's not about your being greedy. That's a false premise that you've picked up somewhere. It's about realizing, actually, I can. And what can you do? Like, we've been able to help build an entire village in Africa because of some of the work that we do. We're always giving back. We're always investing in people and helping people. I mean, I love earning money and I'm very good at it, but it really is just like, oh, okay, because it's the growth. I don't want to have stacks of money. That's boring. That smells. I want to have fun. If you want to write a book, write a book. If you want to sing, sing. If you want to start a business, start a business. But do not wait till the end of your life and then go, why did I not do that? Okay? So money is the servant. You're the master. The third point, money must circulate. Oh, I love this one. This was huge for me. Huge. Money must circulate. The third thing that you should know about money is that it is only valuable as long as it's being used. Now, this is huge. Why? Because if you're not investing your money, if you're not using the money that you've got, then it's like you stop the circulation. That is one of the fundamental laws of the universe. Circulation. If you breathed in and you never breathed out, it wouldn't be too fun. Now, do you know what's cool about that example, as I just said? You would never be able to breathe in and not breathe out. Think about that for a second. Nobody, no human, is able to go and just never breathe out and die. Do you know why? It goes against the grain of your nature. The essence of who you are is for growth. So you would never do that. Okay? So when it comes to money and it comes to it circulating, you've got to use it. Who all has a rich uncle that has stacks of money and lives like they've got none? I do. I don't understand that. Again, that comes from a lack mentality. What if it runs out? What if we need it? Like, I actually had a lady on the phone about last year, and I had her on the phone and she was like, Kim, I really want to join your TIR program. This is definitely for me, but I've got the money, but I'm keeping it just in case. And I went, just in case of what? Well, just in case I ever need a hip replacement. Well, that was the wrong time to tell me that. I was like, no, so hold on. You're keeping money in case something bad happens to you. Like, that is asking for it. You are literally asking the universe, send me problems, send me bills. And this is probably one of the most important things that people just don't get. I didn't get it. You mightn't get it. I hope you do. But when we start to release this fear of lack, which has been programmed into you, it is not real. When we release that and we start to circulate our money, we start to invest, we start to spend, we start to enjoy the fruits of our labor, you're happier. And when you're happier, your vibration lifts. And when your vibration lifts, you bring more great stuff into your life. You'll attract better ideas in business. You'll attract better associates or people or mastermind partners. You'll attract ideas. You'll attract clients. Like, the world is full of abundance, full of it. All you got to do is just look. Like, I'm looking out my window right now and I can see the ocean, plenty, abundance of water. I can see trees, plenty. I can look in the sky and see lots of clouds. There's an abundance everywhere if you would just look at it. But what we look at is lack, what we don't have. Okay? So it's only valuable when you circulate it. So start using your money. Now, disclaimer, you can't just go out and go nuts and go, woo, 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 woo. Kim says if I get rid of all my money, it's going to come back. It is correct, but only if you have the right mindset. If you are conditioned, and we are all conditioned to earn a certain amount, there is a little financial thermostat that is built into your psychocybernetic mechanism. That's in your paradigm. It's in you. If that, wherever that is set, that's what you'll always earn. Ever wonder why when you work harder, you still come home to the same? Or when you have less, something always happens that you have enough. But no matter what, if you look back over the last couple of months or couple of years, it's always in and around the same. Why? Because it's built in. Just like your blood pressure. If I was to run up and down the stairs, my blood pressure will go up, but it will eventually come back down to the normal place that I am programmed to have my blood pressure at. My weight is the exact same. How many of you guys have tried to lose weight, which, by the way, again, no such thing. You release weight. You can't lose energy. It's not created or destroyed, so it moves from one form to another. But you've done that, and you look at the scales and you're like, I'm still stuck at that number. That's because that's where you're programmed. That's where you think you are. So you can change that. I helped a lady last week on one of our live calls, and we totally smashed through paradigms like lightning fast. And in a week, the shift that she's had, and she said last night in our coaching call, Kim, I feel like I've lost about 3 stone. Now, she hasn't, because that would be dangerous in a week. But she was like, I just feel incredible. And doors have opened up and opportunities have come. And it was just beautiful to see that. And it's the happiness. Love is what this is all about. You want to have more money so that you can spend time with the people you love. Love is level of vibrational energy. The higher you can get your vibration, the more love you will have, the more money you will have, the more health you will have, better people to be around that uplift you and support you. If you don't have that in your life, then you're going to find this really tough. And then no wonder you feel scared and fearful and doubt yourself. I get it. I was there. But then you've also got to realize it's a choice. You either stay there or you realize, yeah, that's not working for me, and you go in a different direction. Now, the different direction can't just be you waking up someday and going, right, that's it. Kim's taught me all of this stuff. I've got it. I just need to think positive. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. If we could all just think positive and think abundance, it would be raining with money. There's a process that you must go through to get your mind magnetized to prosperity. You can't just go, bing, doesn't work. You can't read the books. It's not about memorization. It's not about education. How many people do you know are really, really, really smart, have lots of education, but they're broke? And then there's so many people that have got no education and they've got lots of money. So the common denominator is it's got nothing to do with whether you're educated or not. I'm not the brightest spark in the toolbox. I don't even know if that's a saying. Proof. But I attract everything I want. It's my life. It's my choice. You don't have to agree with it or not. I'm comfortable with it. I'm okay with it. And that's why I'm able to help so many people. And that's why I gain a reward, which is for services rendered. Money is earned. You do not make money. You earn money. People that make money either work in the mint or they're on their way to jail. Okay? You earn money. So it's never about, is there enough money? It's, well, what are you doing? What are you putting? Well, how are you applying this? It's not just about being positive. It's about having the positive psychology and then backing it up and integrating it with your behavior. That's lesson 8 in TIR. Praxis, the integration of belief and behavior. It's very easy for us to all have checks on the wall and vision boards and all these wonderful things, but none of that is going to mean diddly squat if you're not putting it into practice, if you're not applying this. So your attitude to money is absolutely essential. On page 11, under the title Fear Not, it says, if you want to have money, one thing you should never do is worry about it. Now, right now, we're living in a world, there are a lot of people worrying about money. And that is like turning on a huge magnet and going, don't want money. Keep it away from me. Don't like it. Why? Because they're thinking of money and they're thinking about it in a negative way. So the money is repelled. I always remember Bob saying, money is like a friend. Okay? Treat the friend well, they'll come round to your house. Don't treat the friend well, they'll not come near you. So money goes where it is invited and it stays where it is treated well. So realize that. Okay, I want to just run through 6. We probably will go over time, but frankly, don't care. So 6 things of why people struggle with money. 1, not taught about it in school. No understanding. Okay? So you've got to ask yourself, do you have an understanding of money? Now, me talking for 55 minutes does not constitute an understanding. I've given you knowledge about money, but it is not an understanding. Understanding and true learning is when you change from the inside, that creates a change on the outside, and then the change in result is the learning. You start to see, oh, I thought differently, I did differently, look what has happened. Ping, that's where learning comes from, okay? Number 2, most people have got poor beliefs or habits. So your beliefs around money, ask yourself today, what are your beliefs around money? What did you hear about money growing up? Where do you think, your thinking process around money came from? And it's not a blame game. I don't want anyone to blame anybody because your mom and dad didn't know any better because they weren't taught it either. Okay? Now, you might have parents, like my dad is what we call an unconscious competent. Somebody in your life who just, they wing it and they seem to just be really successful, but you kind of look at them and go, how do you not hurt yourself? Well, there are people that are unconscious competence. They, in their programming, have somehow managed to work by universal law, but they don't know what they've done. And that's great for that person, but it's not also great. And if you're that person, don't think, oh, brilliant, I have a free ride. No, you're still capped because you can only do your best. And if you don't know how you did to get to the best, then you're spending the rest of your life, gotta be the number one, gotta be the best, gotta be the best, gotta be the best. I always am the best. Everything always works out for me. And then it's almost like a hassle. Okay. And you cannot duplicate it. So if you're working a company and you've got one person that is earning lots of money and selling like a machine, you'd love to duplicate it out amongst the sales team, but you can't because this guy doesn't even know how he's doing it. And they'll say things like, well, I work hard, or, I just get on well with people. And yes, there is some element of truth, but that's not a scientific breakdown that somebody else can take and follow. So when you learn this material, when you follow a step-by-step process, you can do it over and over and over with any goal. I remember when I first started this, when Bob was asking me, what type of money do you want to earn? I put down 20 grand because I thought 20 grand was a lot. And then I quickly moved it up to 100,000. And that was me totally maxed out in my imagination. I thought 100,000 was literally like being a billionaire. I had no concept. I had no relativity with it. I had nothing to compare with because I'd never had it. And I didn't know anybody that had it. So I never thought about it. But when I started to think about it, when I started to follow exactly what Bob taught me to do, the system, then I started to get great ideas around business. And even though I've never had a business diploma degree in my life, how on earth did somebody like me make it happen? A nurse, no business background. How could I run a 7-figure company and have time and have fun and travel the world? It's because I just did what Bob told me to do. I was like, just tell me what to do. I will do it and I will follow it. And it worked. And now I dedicate my life to teaching people this every single day. Thirdly, financial thermostat. You are only earning what you're earning because that's how you're programmed to earn. You cannot outwork it. I'll start the business and then we'll see what happens. Wrong attitude. You cannot override it. If you're programmed to earn X, you're always going to earn X. It's nothing about what you're doing on the outside. Don't fall into that trap because that will burn you out and make you further away from prosperity than you've ever been because you won't be happy. Okay? You must change the financial thermostat. Now, if you're asking how this is done, this is through our program. And I'm not going to lie about that. Thinking into Results is without a doubt the best personal development program on this planet. And why do I say that? Because we're the only company that focuses on the root cause of results, the paradigm. So you've got to change that. 4, don't settle just because you're afraid. We're going to be talking about fear and faith tomorrow, but that is really not a great place to be. Don't say, I'll make the decision when I've got this. You say that every year, but I literally do not listen to your paradigm. And it's not because I'm mean. It's because I believe in you more than what you believe in you. All you've got to do, the only prerequisite to making a decision to change your life is, do you want it? Do you want more for yourself? Do you want more for your family? 5th, don't get trapped in a belief that there is security in a job. I think we talked about this yesterday. There is no security in a job. Security is an inside job. Now, I'm not saying jobs are the worst thing in the world. I don't think they're the best. When we study the 3 money-making strategies, and there only is 3 money-making strategies in the world, it is the worst strategy, trading time for money. Do you know why? You run out of time and you never make enough money. When you think about time and money, like, oh, how many times we hear time is money? No, it's not. Time is time, money is money. 2 separate things. Like, I could be earning money in my sleep. I'm earning money as I'm talking to you here right now. But it's the same amount of time. So again, are you aware of how to create multiple sources of income? Are you aware of how you can start to multiply your income with less time? If you're not, that's okay, but we can teach you. The sixth one is don't be obsessed with debt. I covered that. Okay, so what is the solution here, guys? The solution is awareness. It's not about anything else apart from becoming more aware of how you can change your conditioned way of thinking around money, how you can tap into a higher level of thought. Because the thoughts down here, like think when you're really sad and down, you reach for sad music. You reach for the ice cream or the pizza or the wine. All stuff that's in harmony with each other, which isn't really going to help you. When we're in a high frequency, in a high state of thinking, there's higher quality thoughts, higher quality clients, higher quality partners, higher quality of life. So the key is raise your awareness, get into the high vibrations. You can still be a very humble, down-to-earth person, but you will have better ideas. You will have more confidence. You will have more people around you to mastermind with. Like, do you have a mastermind community? Do you have a group of people that you can go and say your wildest dreams to? If you don't, we've got one for you. So bringing this bit to the end, page 14, no amount of reading or memorizing will bring you the success you seek. It is only the understanding and application of the ideas that will make the difference. On page 16, it says consciousness is and always has been developed through thinking. And regardless of what your present situation in life may be, if you ever hope to improve it and truly become wealthy, as this book suggests that you can be, you must begin to think prosperity in your mind now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to decide right now while you're in this energy. Don't just go, oh, that was brilliant. That's my hour done, and off you go. All I'm interested in is you and helping you be the best version that you can be. And I believe in every single human being, all of them. Why? Because I know even if maybe they're not a great person, maybe they're not saying nice things, at the essence of the core, they're actually spiritually perfect. And it's about our attitude. Me being annoyed at somebody, me holding grudges, me being pissed off at somebody who's got more money, just actually robs me of my riches in all sense of the term. So please reach out. I've put that into the chat box. That is what I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I could talk about this subject every single day. So I'm really glad you enjoyed this, guys. It was an absolute pleasure. I really just want to help you guys gain an understanding and work with you. And I will see you all tomorrow. All right.